What is going on, guys? This is Versus All Gaming with my review of Magi, the Kingdom of Magic, episode 21. And this episode, it was nothing but amazing. I love this episode so much because it was just that freaking good. So the episode, it starts off with Magi and all these other magicians. And of course now they know that the Kouha Empire, they're now planning on invading, and they have a force of over 20,000 soldiers. So of course now they're wondering what they can do, but Mogamed here, he actually has a plan, and we see that he actually walks with these other magicians to the 5th level district. And so when we get there, we have everybody, we have all these Goi, they're like begging him to turn down, how much Magoi they're like absorbing from all these people. And then we see this like real young guy. We saw him a few times in the past, and we see that he's holding this like woman's body. And of course that right there is his lover, and we see that she's either dead or she is dying. So I do feel for that guy. But we have all the people, just like begging him, and we see Mogamed here. He kind of like breaking, as we see that he goes from these happy times where we have all the people that were like praising him, and then we go to the dark times where we have all these Goi with like plotting and just using these magicians. And of course he like thinking about his wife and his daughter. But at one point when this little girl, actually, try to talk to him and touches him, he actually hits her. And I'm not gonna lie, that right there kind of pissed me off. And for that I gotta say, fuck you, Mogamed. But then we see that, he finally shows his true colors as he snaps. And he says that, he not care nothing about the Goi. And we see that, it just kind of shocks everybody. Even the magicians that were like with him, they were definitely shocked by this. And so eventually, he walks to the edge and he goes down, and we see now what the bottom floor looks like. And of course we see like these people, and they're like charcoal black, and they have like these red lines going through them. And of course we have seen them before when like people are used for these black dojin. And is it like dojin or dinjin? I really have no idea how to say it right. I just call them dojin. I'm probably saying it wrong, but if you guys know like the right way to say it, please let me know. But for now on, I'm just gonna call them like dojin till I really learn the true pronunciation of them. But we see now that he plans on using the black dojin, to end the war. And we see now that the only way that he can do that if he like falls from grace. And he actually, had no problem with that, because he was saying that, this body of his is gonna become black and unusable, but his grudge will still be intact, so he's like fine with this. And so then we go to Aladdin, Alibaba, Titus, and the Magi of the Liam Empire, and they're all talking, and she actually lets them know that Titus does not have much time left to live, and she actually wants him to spend his last few days with Marga. And so of course he's like fine with them, but Titus was saying that, if he wants to pick up his wand and fight with them, then Aladdin will be like waiting for that. And that was definitely a nice touching moment. But then we see like all the black Ryugas gathering, and of course that definitely picks up Aladdin and Alibaba attention. But then we have these other magicians that are like rather clueless about this, and they have no idea what's going on because they think it's like a new spell. But little do they know that basically this whole kingdom here, or country, whatever you want to call it, it is definitely now becoming corrupt. But then we have Kouha, who was kind of being harassed here by his 3 loyal followers, and we see that they all deeply care about him. But we have him advancing now to Magnostrad, and when he's walking there, he see like these black figures are flying toward him. But before that, we also had the black dojin, like Aladdin and Alibaba. They also spotted them, and they were going at them. But we see now that they want nothing to do with the Liam Empire, as they flew toward the Kouha Empire. And so now, I'm guessing that Kouha had never seen one before, because he had no idea what they were. But when they actually attack him, he used a blade to make it, become a gigantic size, and he blocks off the attack for the most part. But we see that, most of these soldiers that he actually lost them. And we see that he actually cares deeply for his companions, and he gets so angry that he actually goes into his dojin equip. And then we get like this flashback that was definitely really touching, as if we actually learn that that his dojin, it actually wanted to go with his brother rather than him. But because he had 3 already, and she now wanted to deal with a so-called playboy, she had decided to go with Kouha instead. And if you guys read the manga, then you know why this certain doujin here will like feel this way, especially after the later chapter. So now we have Kouha here fighting against these doujin, and he's definitely doing a pretty good job because he actually was, you know, hitting them and cleaning them up. But as long as they were like Black Ryuk around, then they could just regenerate. And then we see that he used his extreme magic, which I'm not gonna lie, that right there was definitely pretty impressive. It like some kind of gravity based magic, and it just like crushed them all. It's like a pancake. But we see that, you know, we have these new kind of doujin appearing that we had like never seen before, and they were definitely a lot creepy. And so now he has to deal with them, and he was definitely having a hard time. I did feel bad for him, you know, struggling like this, especially from the way that, you know, people care so badly about him. Because that flashback, it was definitely touching, because basically he had, you know, gathered all these outsiders, then like rather picking elites from the Kouha Empire, he brought in like all these nobodies, but he made them into somebodies. And because he kind of like gave them a home, they all respect him, and of course, you know, they only serve him rather than the empire altogether. And so we see at one point he actually cuts off the leg of one of these doujin, and we see that it like multiplies, and we have 3 now. And just when it seemed like it about to crush him, we have a new, you know, doujin equip now appearing, and it was Alibaba. And this over here is the results of a training, as he can now do doujin equip. I'm not gonna lie, I actually love his a lot. He looks so freaking badass. I'm glad that we're like finally seeing this, because the wait was worth it. Alibaba has definitely stepped his game up. I was definitely impressed about that. And so we see now that, you know, but we have like this army of black doujin appearing, and it's just crazy, you know, the number that they had. And so Alibaba had no choice, and you know, he said now wasn't the time to hold back tricks. So he was actually going to use his extreme magic, but before he could, somebody else, you know, striked first. And then we see like this giant blue dragon or beast, whatever you want to call it, but it was like marching the battlefield. And then we see Cohen, and we see his subordinates. So now we have him appearing, and this war is definitely getting a lot better, because not only did we have, you know, a pretty good fight here with like Kouha and Alibaba, but now we have like a major threat himself, Cohen, you know, now appearing. So this war is definitely getting good. But I gotta say, Moga is definitely, you know, like, he's a good villain, and I will admit that, because I hate him so much. That's how I know that you know, he's a good villain. But we see now that he's in like this reddish spear, and we see that his body is black, and he has like these red vines, you know, like all throughout his body. So clearly now we see that he has definitely fallen, and he is now giving himself to the darkness, as he is now controlling all these black doujin, and he wants to use them to, you know, end this war. But it's definitely not going to be that easy now for him to do that, because we have Kouha, because we have a Cohen, or maybe it was, you know, that like blue dragon guy that had attacked. But we have all these beasts now appearing. So even though, you know, Mogamed might have this endless supply of black doujin, it doesn't mean that he's going to win with them. But I gotta say that this episode, it was definitely amazing. I loved it so freaking much. But as always, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe. I would love to hear what you guys thought about this. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time.